Welcome back to Duda Dojo, your source for the latest Duda news, platform how-tos, and product updates. I'm Jessica, and this week I'm joined by several members of our design team to discuss how to implement pop-ups in the Duda system. So let's jump right in. We're back for another Duda Dojo.
Woo!
We got Chris on the screen with us today, yes, and Alexis and Rachel. We are going to talk about pop-ups in the Duda personalization tool. I'm excited to talk about this one because I know we've got several different takes on this. We definitely want to talk about designing them, how you actually set them up in the system. But first, what do you guys think of pop-ups when you're interacting with them on websites?
Okay, you go first.
I feel like I'm kind of middle of the road. I feel like most of the time it does get me, especially like on like shopping sites. Like if it's like get 20% off here, and I'm like, and the amount of emails, like or the amount of like emails that I have from signing up to these like
Subscriptions.
Too many to count.
Just give us your email.
I need to pull it back.
What about
She's
you?
like, more.
Every time, it gets me every single time. I can't resist. It's a problem.
Probably. You're already on the site and you want something, and it's just like, we know you want something, just take 20% off today.
It literally speaks to me. It's like in bold, 25%. And I'm like, all right, you can have my email.
What do you think is worse, email or like text, like to your phone?
Okay, so that's where it gets me.
Okay.
So I will definitely put my email in all day long. But then it's like, just
then
put your text
phone
in or put your phone number in to text you. And I was like, okay.
No, bye. Yeah. What about you, Chris? What is your take on how do you interact with pop-ups?
So when I get a pop-up, I just immediately exit out. I don't want to see it anymore. However, if it's like a code, I'll remember it and I'll like save it for later. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. See, her and I are the same. And I know, we've talked about this, but I'm like, you can't get me, bye, And then I will later sometimes be like, I should have grabbed that code, but I figured out how to get them. So I figured out how to get them. So I know some of the things with pop-ups is how you design it, how it looks. I mean, like anything, right? Yeah. And the amount of content that you're, producing for that. Alexis, talk to me about your experience with that. How do you find the balance between aesthetics and message and actually trying to convert someone?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, the key is balance. You don't want to overwhelm the user. And I think that, pop-ups can be used for so many different things depending on what their platform is, who their audience is. Like, today we're going to talk about a pop-up that's like for an event, or we have like, signing up for emails from whatever company, or what's another example?
Well, just notifications of like changes. I mean, sometimes you get policy changes or terms changes for certain things that pop up on screens. I mean, that's a way to do it. Not as fun, but it's a way to use a pop-up.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to drive conversion. And I think, making that text or that design just very eye-catching, having that imagery just to pull you in, maybe keep you there for a second. And then, maybe I'll read through what it says here, or like have that title just be very bold. And then that will lead you down to the conversion point, whether it's your email or taking you to a products page. That's what I wanted to say, like products. So I think that's very important to just think about those things.
You mentioned something important there about like events, because I know that, Rachel, you work with a client that likes to announce events.
They love pop-ups.
Yes. Talk to me about that. Like, what is the use case for that, and how do you produce that for them?
Yeah. So, I mean, we're pop-up central with this client. I mean, we're rotating pop-ups, I think, like 3 times a month.
Yeah.
Right now we are working on, we have it up and running, but it's for their Christmas event. And so it basically pops up on their homepage and it advertises different services for church during the Christmas season.
Right. Yeah.
So if Chris wants to take it away on their fabulous Behold
100%
pop-up.
Yeah. Yes. And I mean, so this one's more for location. So it's a location notification or event notification.
But they do all kinds. It's like if they're doing different life groups that pertain. I mean, really it is like a location centric, but
there's different ways that they use it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Take us through that, Chris.
Yeah. So here in the personalized section, after you create a rule for your pop-up, it lives all in here. And so this Behold pop-up, it takes about 6 seconds to appear for users, but you can preview that pop-up here. And
so this one's set to trigger 6 seconds or something like that. Yeah. So And there it is.
So here it goes.
Yeah.
Pretty.
So now the user can engage with that. They can look at their specific location, because I know this church has like 6 or 7 locations.
Yeah.
And decide what location they need to view those hours for. So it's attractive. It's just a approachable message.
For sure.
Yeah.
We have another one that we want to show. So Christiana and I have been working on something. It's a pop-up for an advertisement for some of our services. And so this one isn't live. And in this case, we're kind of making an announcement that if you sign up with social media services before the end of the year, you might get a little something.
We're jumping on like Black Friday deals.
At Black Friday at RivalMind. I know. And I was just like, as I'm doing this and setting this up for the demo, and we don't have it published, but I was like, the CEO is going to be like, we're doing what?
Yeah.
You know? What? It's just for practice. It's not going live, but she designed this in a way that there is quite a bit of information, but we want to show everyone like how we worked that information in via desktop and also mobile, and then how you make that connection piece. So Chris, let's look at your design for this.
Yeah. So when you create a pop-up, they also live in the page panel. Here's pages, here's pop-ups, and you can create a new pop-up here, and they give you different options, but I prefer creating on a blank slate.
Same.
As always.
Yeah, same.
Yep. So for today, I already created the pop-up, and it looks like this. So you can have text widgets, icons, images, contact forms, or you can add any widget if you want, as long as it makes sense.
Yeah, you could have a video in here. We actually have one on our site like that.
Yes, we do. So you can edit those pop-up settings. You can change the height, the width. You can change the background color. You can add a border like I did here. And you need to make sure you QC it for mobile.
Yeah, let's take a look at that, because I know there's a couple options for here. You know, because you only have so much screen size for this. So you might need to tweak some of the stuff.
Yeah, you have to be careful about the spacing. You need to adjust the width and height if you need to. If you don't want these side by side, you can have them on top of each other. You can tell that this CTA button is much shorter compared to desktop, because I hid it for mobile just to save some space. And you need to make sure your contact form is named correctly, so you can easily figure out where that submission came from.
Yeah. So if you're using a contact form in a pop-up in the Duda system, what she's showing there is you do want to name it so that you know where that submission, came from. Or of course you can integrate it with a mailing system or a CMR or something like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, Chris. And let's look at the personalization rule and how we set that up to make the connection between the designed element and the rule you want to run the designed element. So in this one here, you can see as someone who's setting this up, you have the opportunity to like choose different triggers, like a certain time of day or the certain amount of times that a certain IP visits your website. In this case, we're going to just display to all visitors. So we selected that box, and you can continue editing. And then we have right now, I want this to blow up in front of everyone's faces. So
Pop-ups everywhere.
We have it on all pages. And then I set the trigger to 2 seconds. You know, something we definitely want to talk about is, you know, the timing and the best practice for timing on that. But I set this to 2 seconds. You can go ahead and continue editing on this one. And then, so it shows you the element that you've connected to. We obviously already made this connection, but Chris, if you want to go back in and to the personalization tool and show where a user could actually activate this trigger, and then it will be live on the site.
Yeah.
So after you create that rule, you can save it and then publish now, or you can just preview the rule first. So it takes you to the homepage, 2 seconds pass, and here it goes.
There it is.
Yep.
Awesome.
And this is another excellent thing about the Duda system is you can do so much of your work and you can look at it and test it before you ever push it live, versus some other systems. You do have to push it live to really like determine if it has the right layout. Yeah. So this one's set again to 2 seconds. The orchard was set to 6 seconds. And there isn't a ton of information out there like analytically on timing for when this stuff should trigger.
Sure.
I think it's a little trial and error for your brand. Yeah.
And I mean, even for the one client, we had pop-ups rotating at one point. So one would appear after 2 seconds. And then if you clicked out of it, then another one would appear a few seconds later. So.
Yeah. You have to. So I know that you have a little bit of your own take on that, on timing and the overwhelmedness of how you present that to the user. So what is your take on that?
Yeah, I think we had talked about like the balance of these pop-ups. I think that can be sometimes a bit overwhelming to the user. I know it is to me. We don't want to make the user feel trapped or, you know, forced to do anything. We want to just engage them, but in a very like, you know, exciting way, like lead them somewhere they would want, like feel that they want to go.
You want to notify them.
Exactly. Yeah. And so, yeah, I think maybe having one after the other, it can like, you're blocking off also like the content that you've displayed on that page. So like, you don't want it to be too much. I think having it, you know, in your intro of like your homepage, like, hey, like this is something we got going on. If you don't want to look at it, it's still like maybe on that page or like it'll link out somewhere else. Like I think also it's super important with these triggers. You can have like certain buttons or certain like sections that will trigger those pop-ups. So like maybe there's a certain section you want to highlight or like, you know, that will lead out to somewhere, another conversion.
Yeah, that's a great point. Chris, do you like designing these pop-ups?
Yes, they're really fun and quick and easy to make. And they're just really like cute designs sometimes. So yeah, I love it.
So it's like instant gratification.
Yeah.
It really I think like I've made one that wasn't actually in Duda, like in-house. I made one that was just like an Illustrator and then like added it as an image, but still like had that conversion point on top. So I think it's cool. Like, you know, you can customize in Duda with the tools that they have, but also like if you're a designer like me who maybe wants to make it a bit more
zhuzh it up.
Yes. A bit more aesthetic, then you can make it elsewhere.
Pre-design and then load it.
Yep.
I love it. Great information. Thanks for joining me today.
Of course. Hey, if you like this dojo, try out this one or subscribe to our channel for more content.